Do you know what the best thing is about working with influencers? Is that you don't have to be creative. It is literally their job and their expertise. They know their content, they know their audience, and they know the type of content that their audience will like because they have that relationship with them. But in some cases, some brands still try to control that content, still try to have as much control as possible on what influencers are saying about them. Now, there's always been this ongoing debate in the influencer world, right? Where some brands and some people say that, hey, we give no direction, we give complete creative control to the influencer, and they say what they say, and we reuse their content because we believe in the power that influencers possess to create the best content possible, which is great, which is fair enough. And then there's another camp which says, hey, we want to make sure that every single thing that influencers are saying is in line with exactly what our messaging is for the brand. We don't want them to veer off here or there, which is also fair, right? So there's always this debate, but usually, like in any debate, the truth, the insight, or the solution that you should go for is always somewhere in the middle. And I kind of lie in the middle of this spectrum, leaning towards this camp, which is to give creative control, right? And the reason for that is because by trying to control what influencers do best, you're crushing their creativity. They're not able to authentically promote you. They're not able to influence their audience. You're robbing them of their influence, right? The whole point of working with influencers, it's not an ad. In an ad, you can say what you want. That's complete control over messaging. But with an influencer, you work with them because of their ability to influence and be authentic and shout you out in a more natural way. So let them be free and creative. But, and here's where my middle ground comes in, set some guardrails, right? At the end of the day, it's your brand, it's your baby, you have a say in how it's represented, but don't give direction, set guardrails, say do what you want, just don't go here, just don't go there. In this video, I know it's a little bit vague, so I'm going to share exactly how we recommend brands share creative guidelines and set guardrails for influencers. By the way, who am I? I'm Yash, I'm the founder at SARAL. We've worked with hundreds of brands and shared this exact template with them, and I'm making this video so that you as a brand, even if you're not on SARAL, you can copy this exact template and share these guardrails with your influencers. So let's dive in. One of the best ways to share guardrails and guidelines with your influencers and ambassadors is to make a simple document that shares your experience, and we're going to dive into the exact framework that we use in this video, in the screen share. So, and by the way, how you make this document is irrelevant. We tend to use Notion for this, but feel free to go all out, make a custom branded PDF, or just make it a simple Google Doc or a simple email, right? Doesn't matter. What matters is the framework that I'm about to share with you. But to give you context on the framework, I just wanted to show you the brand that we're working with. In this particular example, it's called Fresh Pickle. They're an actual user of SARAL. They find pickleball influencers on SARAL and they get endless influencers. You can just go to there, and again, they're a new-ish brand. They're on Amazon, but they don't get a lot of influencer content. But with SARAL, in the recent times, they've been seeing a lot of influencers post about them and tag them and post very happy influencers, in fact. So, and all the content is really lovely and on brand in a good way. So, how do you do that? Well, this is an ambassador guidelines document, right? So I'm going to go through the structure. First, a quick intro, right? Welcome them to be part of your ambassador program. Like, hey, dear Fresh Pickle ambassador, you may also choose to personalize this based on, you just make copies of the document and personalize this, add their first name. Not super necessary. Influencers get it. So you can just say, hey, Fresh Pickle ambassador. And if you've given them an identity like hashtag Fresh Pickle ambassador or a hashtag Sephora squad member or whatever your unique hashtag is, make sure you mention that. So you're re-emphasizing that they're part of this close-knit community now. Give a short intro for the brand, like here's what we do, and then preface the document. Here's why you're about to read this document. Again, it's all about telling stories, right? So the first thing that we do in the framework is to tell the story of the brand and try to relate as much as possible. So don't be bland here. Don't, use the talking points from your marketing website. Tell the true, honest story. Feel free to record a short Loom video and add it in the document, embed it in the document. In this particular case, you can pause and read, but they've written a very personal origin story of like, hey, I'm Lee, I'm the founder, I'm a mediocre tennis player, I love fashion better at fashion than I am at the sport, which is why I started this brand. And it's using jargon like, like serves and so on, right? It's a personal origin story, which is your goal. Then share your philosophy. What do you stand for? What are you doing? If you have a mission, if you are, let's say you're a skincare brand that cares a lot about cruelty and so on, or you're vegan, things like that, mention that here. This is what we are. This is a good way to re-emphasize with the influencer that, hey, these are the values we stand for, and we hope that you also stand for that, right? And maybe there's some influencers who will not agree with your philosophy, and that's completely okay. They won't post about you. So be strong and share your philosophy. philosophy. From there, identification. So who is a Fresh Pickle ambassador? What do they do? You care not just about pickleball the sport, but you care about the style that you bring to the pickleball court, right? So things like that, and the average pickleball player, not an ambassador. If you care about fashion, you're an ambassador. So like identify with the influencer, with the ambassador, who is a perfect brand ambassador for you, especially if you've made the ICP, your ideal creator profile. Again, if you are using SARAL, you will find this mini course in SARAL, and then under day 3, it's a quick 5-minute video, private video that covers exactly how you build an ideal creator profile. All the elements of your ideal creator profile you must add here in this point. Add identification for the ambassadors. If somebody reads this and they are actually that person, they feel validated, right? So this is a good thing. Add that. Then benefits. So re-emphasize what's in it for them. Again, you've probably already communicated this with on email, but influencers work with a lot of brands, right? They may forget. So mention it again. Mention, here's what you get. We've probably already sent you the tote bag that you wanted. You get 25% commission. Your audience gets a 10% discount. Whatever is a recurring, add your influencer offer here. This is your influencer offer. Like, hey, this is our offer. This is what you get for posting about us. Here's how you will receive your payment, so that it's very, very clear how they're going to receive it, when they're going to receive it, at the end of each month. If you're doing bi-weekly, if you're doing once a quarter, I don't recommend doing once a quarter. Whatever your payment terms are, add those here so it's very, very clear. Now, coming to the meat of the document, which is the most important part, content guidelines, right? So make sure that you write whatever guidelines there are. Again, use that. This is a good inspiration for you, so you can pause and read through it. But we emphasize that, hey, you know your audience best. You know what value you can bring to them. Just make sure our product is in the video, right? And things like that. And then we encourage you to post at least twice or thrice every single week. Things like that. And so on. And then just whatever your stance is on content ownership. If maybe your contract involves you owning the content that they create, mention that here. In this case, they don't have that. So it's just like all content belongs to you. So again, all of this is clarified. Then the most critical part is share inspiration. Write that here are all the types of content. It may be blogs, it may be videos, it may be TikToks, it may be anything, podcasts, anything. Add those in here. And I need to ask Fresh Pickle to actually update this because they've gotten a lot of content. But add that content here, embed it here, add a link to the content so that other influencers can look at what's working, look at other potentially viral reels that have gone, great TikTok videos that they can look at, take inspiration from, fuel their creative engines, and make even better content for you. So add inspiration, shout out your ambassadors, make sure that there's collaboration amongst your community. And at the end, add FAQs, add things like, all the terms and conditions, like what all the boring things, like, does this mean I can't post about your competitors? How do I see the numbers that I have? How much do I get paid and when? Things like that. Add that towards the end, all the FAQs. Usually, following this template, adding a welcome, general description, share a heartfelt story, make sure you take a stance on what your philosophy is, identify with the ambassador, add, which is your ICP, add your creator offer here, make sure you mention how they're going to get paid, add general guidelines and how often do you want them to post and so on. Again, it's about we encourage, we appreciate, we love that if you do this, we've seen that other influencers make more money. It's not that this is what you have to do. This is just what you can do if you want to make the most amount of money from being part of an ambassador network and earn all the benefits that are a part of your influencer offer. Things like that. Add inspiration for your content directly here and with FAQs. So again, the goal is to not make this too long. The goal is to convey information that they can read in 3 to 4 minutes, easily look at inspiration content and start making fantastic on-brand content for you. So there you have it, a comprehensive guide on creating a successful ambassador program guidelines document that respects influencers' creativity while also ensuring they don't say that's completely off brand, right? Again, you could write the wrong things in this document, right? So there's a fine line between protecting and guiding and controlling, right? So the best way to tackle this is to ensure that you make a document in the format that I've shared and keep the lines of communication open, right? Encourage your ambassadors to reach out to you if they have questions, if they have more ideas, more guidelines that they think you should add in. And this is, again, remember, this is not just about rules and guidelines. It's about building a thriving community that loves your brand, that is engaged and excited and truly feels connected with what your brand philosophy is. So make sure, hope this was helpful. If you found it helpful, make sure you leave a like. If you have any questions about this document, if you want me to share the link or something, just leave a comment below, or if you have questions, leave comments and I'm happy to answer. Love to hear from you. And if you have any content guidelines for me, please drop them in. What you would like to hear more about, what your troubles and frustrations and problems are with influencers. I'm happy to keep making such amazing videos for you. Bye bye.